Streaming live here on KGW Plus, our top local headlines at 7 o'clock include 2 more bodies recovered from the Willamette River. Sunrise reporter Ashley Grams will join us live with more on what is now 7 bodies found in Portland area waterways in just the past 3 weeks. Plus,
what does May 7th mean to you?
Chaos, unnecessary chaos, confusion.
The rush is on as the Real ID law is set to go into effect in just 2 days. Coming up, we'll address some common misconceptions about the deadline.
And we'll also look at how a Tualatin man is using his bike and a ton of pedal power to honor his mother. The live 7 o'clock hour of Sunrise starts right now.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 7 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. I just realized as I was looking at that video, the man is not pedaling across the country. He's riding a motorcycle.
That's okay.
Are you laughing at that too, Chris McGinnis?
A little.
Hey, before we get to you, we do have an announcement for kids in Gladstone, specifically at John Wetton Elementary. If you're a kid that goes to the school, you have a 2-hour delay today because apparently there's no power at the school right now. The school doesn't have any electricity. Now, this may be part of a bigger power outage in that Gladstone area. We're working to find out more information, but for right now, we do know a 2-hour delay at John Wetland Elementary. We know that gentleman from Tualatin is going to ride a motorcycle, not pedal a bike across the country. And we know that Chris McGinnis and Rod Hill have weather and traffic for you right here, right now.
Boy, we know a lot, more than we normally do.
Yeah, 7 o'clock, man, we are sharp.
I tell you what, here's a look. We have a beautiful sunny day coming. Today, you'll notice it being warmer than the weekend. You'll notice it not being as breezy. All of the cameras show clear skies. Here's Snookwinds Casino Resort in Lincoln State. It's been a cool start. You folks are still sitting at 38 degrees. Here's downtown Portland, clear skies and 46, pretty typical temperature for this time of the year out the door. Winds are being reported as light. Battleground 36. We had a frost advisory that was set to expire at 7 a.m. this morning, so that is over. It was mainly for the foothill communities. Sandy stayed well above freezing at 37 this morning is your current temperature. You did not get much cooler than that. 43 is the number in West Lynn and Salem. Good morning. You are clear, and 42 is your temperature. Here's the temperature March into early afternoon. This shows mid-60s at noon and then up into the 70s in the 2 o'clock hour. I have Portland in the mid-60s at noon and a high temperature eventually getting up to 77. Again, should be just an absolutely beautiful day. Christopher, what do you got?
That looks awesome. All right, let's get you back to the St. John's Bridge. We've been following this, and why we're showing you this right now is that this ramp over on the west side of the bridge, the let's call it the south ramp, East Bridge Avenue, is supposed to close maybe now. Anyway, that's what the sign says, 7 a.m. Today and tomorrow. For some bridge maintenance on Bridge Avenue. And so all of that traffic will eventually head over to the north side ramp. And that's a big deal because there's a lot of roads that funnel down through the area, lots of traffic in that area anyway. And so that will become extra busy as we go through the day today. And I expect especially for the afternoon commute. All right, right now on the freeways, this is a mess. Highway 26 westbound out near Cedar Hills Boulevard. It appears that the exit ramp to Cedar Hills Boulevard has reopened, but at this moment, it does not look like any westbound Sunset traffic is getting passed. You can see the cars are lined up here, and that is starting to really significantly stack up that westbound commute. Not sure exactly what's going on here, but we will keep you posted on that for sure. I've got one more traffic alert to share with you. This is down in Marion County. 99E was closed a little while ago in the Brooks area. It looks like we're back to at least one lane getting through near Quinnaby Road. Obviously, though, that's creating some local slowing. Photojournalist Eric Patterson is headed to the scene to check that out. Guys, we hope to hear more from him coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Chris. 2 more bodies were found over the weekend in the Willamette River, one not far from the Steel Bridge, the other at Cathedral Park.
These are the latest in what has been a series of bodies recovered from rivers in the Portland area over the past month. Sunrise reporter Ashley Grams has been covering this story for us all morning long. She's live there along the Willamette on Portland's central east side. Ashley, what else can you tell us?
Yeah, Drew, China, good morning. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office tells us there's no reason to believe there is any connection between the 7 bodies found in the last couple of weeks, 2 discovered over the weekend, the other 5 found last month. Now, on Saturday, the Sheriff's Office River Patrol unit recovered a body just after 2 in the afternoon north of the Steel Bridge. Portland Fire and Rescue reported finding the body in the middle of the channel, saying it was decomposed. Then another body was found hours later around 8 in the evening after washing ashore at Cathedral Park. River Patrol also recovered that body. The medical examiner is now working to identify the bodies and cause of death. Here's a look at when and where the other bodies were found. The sheriff's office says this number of recoveries is considered normal. For some context, 3 bodies were recovered last April compared to 5 bodies this April. Now, the sheriff's office says there can be a few things that contribute to these discoveries. One of them being warmer water means these bodies can float to the surface. And when there's warmer weather, there's more people on the river, possibly spotting these human remains and reporting them. Guys?
Ashley Graham's live for us there along the Willamette River this morning. Meanwhile, the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office believes its Marine unit recovered the body of the missing kayaker who went over the Willamette Falls in Oregon City last month. The body was found yesterday, and while the county medical examiner will work to confirm the identity, the Sheriff's Office says it's likely that of 20-year-old Marcellus Rodriguez. Rodriguez was visiting the area from California last month. You see his picture right here on your screen. He got here on April 12th, and later that very same day, he was seen struggling in the Willamette with his kayak before going over the falls.
The Harney County Sheriff's Office says volunteer searchers have found the remains of Kaylee Burt. Burt went missing on April 4th while traveling from Klamath Falls to Iowa. Volunteers found her remains early Saturday. The Sheriff's Office has not released any information about where she was found or a suspected cause of death.
We also want to let you know about this missing teenager from Milwaukee. The Clackamas County Sheriff's Office says Charlotte Fosgate disappeared from her home in the middle of the night on Friday, along with her cell phone and a bus pass. Her last known location was the St. John's Bridge in North Portland. Charlotte's family says she's autistic, she struggles with her mental health, and has not been taking her medication. If you see her or know anything about Charlotte's disappearance, contact the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office. A police chase in North Portland over the weekend ended with a car going into this home. It happened around 7:30 yesterday morning near North Delaware Avenue and Rosa Parks Way. One neighbor who saw the crash said that the police involved in the chase were from Clark County.
We were just having breakfast, and then I heard metal on metal collision, and then it sounded like something hit the curb, and then a loud crash. And I knew, like, when we saw it, like, just like smoke, and we saw that it hit the side of the house over there.
That neighbor also told us that there was a child inside the room of that house that was hit by the car, but the child was not hurt. We reached out to police to get more information about what led up to that crash.
Your time now is 7:07. Opening day at the Gresham Farmers Market brought out crowds for the market's 39th year. The market runs from the first Saturday of May to the final Saturday in October. In total here, the Gresham Market features 170 vendors, and organizers have the goal of growing it to nearly 200. Dogs are welcome on a leash, and there are produce discounts for those in need. A Tualatin man is planning to ride his motorcycle 5,000 miles this summer all across the country in honor of his mother, who died from Alzheimer's. His ride will start on June 21st and will take about a month. Mike Hall's mother passed away 6 years ago after a long battle with Alzheimer's, and his sister was her primary caregiver. So he says he's doing the ride for both of them and to raise $10,000 for the Alzheimer's Association.
I am super excited about doing the ride, and the response here at the show has been really super positive, overwhelming really. So it's all excitement right now.
Hall says that the longest ride he's ever done was 1,000 miles, so this will be a big journey for him.
Rod, I heard that story a few times before I realized he was on a motorcycle, not a pedal bike. I thought he was pedaling across the country 5,000 miles, which also would have been a heck of a feat. For sure. But now we know it's a motorcycle man there in Tualatin. You are the weatherman, of course. What's that 7 a.m. hour forecast looking like, Rodney?
Beautiful day coming our way. Hi, everybody. We had a frost advisory up that expired at 7 this morning. It wasn't for Portland or the heart of the I-5 corridor, but mainly foothill communities getting up to the Cascades. And Estacada, one of those cities we were watching. It looks to me like you have stayed above freezing, and that frost advisory ended back at 7 this morning. Everybody's going to see clear skies across our 2 states. Here's the Astoria column camera looking at the Astoria-Meckler Bridge this morning. It's cool, 38 degrees, but with the sun, we'll have a nice warm up. And here's our live camera looking over the state capitol. Beautiful clear sky morning down in Marion County. 42 is the temperature there. And here's the Reserve Venus and Golf Club out in Loa. Usually one of our colder spots. Temperatures here stayed generally above 40. Not sure why it's not reporting. 43 in Kelso. Salem's in the low 40s. PDX reporting 46 degrees. We have sunshine over the Cascades. Winds out in the gorge today will be fairly light. Not the gusty winds we had here in the valley over the weekend either. It's a north wind 5 to 15 most areas today. This shows 36 degrees out in John Day. And then later today, here's the way we look. 60s out east, well up into the 70s in the gorge. Portland and the Dalles each showing 76 at 5 o'clock. Salem about the same, and then about 60 to mid 60s it looks like along the coast. So our 7-day, beautiful start to the work week. 77 today, 80s tomorrow. Then there's a weather system that brings some clouds and the chance of a shower or two Wednesday. It looks like either a trace of rain for the most part or nothing. And then we warm back up Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 75. And then Mother's Day comes. And right now, models are showing an upper level low and what would be a likely period of some showery weather with temperatures in the 60s. We'll keep you updated on that. Here's Chris.
Thanks for that. A couple of traffic alerts to pass along. First off, on the Sunset, westbound, Highway 26. This is out near Cedar Hills Boulevard. The exit ramp to Cedar Hills Boulevard was closed a little while ago. It does look like traffic is flowing there. However, the main section of freeway, I'm only seeing cars inch by this crash scene. This is right by that pedestrian overpass that's west of Sylvan prior to the Cedar Hills Boulevard exit ramp. So we can't quite see exactly what's going on there, but certainly you can see the traffic impact is that westbound 26 is really backed up at this point, getting right through the Cedar Hills Boulevard area. Once you do, you're in good shape. All right, let's take it back up to the St. John's Bridge, and the sign said it was going to be closed. The sign lied, but we're expecting that at some point today, the ramp up to the St. John's Bridge, Bridge Avenue, the south ramp, the one on the city side, will be closed at some point today and tomorrow for bridge maintenance. And guys, obviously that's going to create a whole lot of extra congestion on the ramp on the north side of the bridge. There's a lot of roads that funnel down into there, not to mention all the traffic that uses the St. John's Bridge. So that's going to become a pinch point, we think, later today and tomorrow. Back to you.
Thank you, Chris. Coming up on Sunrise, the rush is on. With only 2 days left before the Real ID laws go into effect, we take a look at some common misconceptions. Plus, as the nation deals with a housing shortage, Governor Tina Kotek focuses on middle housing look to provide a solution. Your streaming Sunrise at 7 continues.
Weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
KGW's Evening News. Important stories to help you stay informed and keep your family safe.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Christine Vidawanich.
And I'm David Molko.
Weather Impact Alerts.
Welcome back. Your time now is 7:14. We've been telling you about it for months now, and now the day is almost here. There are just 2 days left until Wednesday's Real ID deadline.
So if you don't have one yet, get ready to play the waiting game, not just at the DMV, but also at the airport. Here's NBC's Adrian Broadus with more.
Across the country, the countdown is on to get a Real ID.
I hope I'm able to get it at least before the deadline.
From New York to North Carolina, scenes like this. People waiting in long lines to get one. They have a Gold Star, California Bear, or say Enhanced in Washington State. And you'll need one if you're planning to fly domestically or visit some federal facilities.
These IDs keep our country safe.
These people are waiting for a Real ID in Chicago.
It's the longest I've waited in a line for an ID before.
Alexi Janulius is the Illinois Secretary of State.
What does May 7th mean to you?
Chaos, unnecessary chaos, confusion.
His office has been overwhelmed, so they created the first ever Real ID Super Center to handle Real ID requests.
On average, this Real ID Super Center processes 1,500 applications daily.
I never would imagine that the Real ID Supercenter would be this popular. We've had other states reach out to us about how to get it done. They want to do it.
But no matter where you live, there are some things you need to know before you get a Real ID. First, that May 7th deadline, that's not the last day you can get one.
I think there's this misnomer out there that because it's a deadline on May 7th, we're going to stop issuing them. That is not the case.
Starting May 7th, you will need a Real ID if you're planning to fly. But even then, you'll still be able to use other documentation.
If you have a passport, travel with your passport.
A passport, a green card, or a military ID. Also, before you go get a Real ID, check online to make sure you have the documents you need. Dorian Irons found out the hard way, denied twice in 1 week.
You look like you're on the verge of tears.
I am, just a little bit.
And when you go, be ready to wait. When we visited the Supercenter, it took some people 2.5 hours.
I'm going to be here a very long time.
It just takes a little planning and a lot of patience. Adrian Broadus, NBC News, Chicago.
So if you have any questions about the Real ID, like where do I need to use it? Or maybe the most basic one of all, how do I get one? Number one, we wish you were asking those questions about a year or two ago. But if you still have them, you can text us using that number you see on your screen, 503-226-5088. We'll try to help you out and sort through your questions with you. We'll also answer some on the air here. Again, Wednesday, the big day, the Real ID deadline.
It's coming.
Wednesday.
It's a coming.
Yeah.
All right, your time now is 7:17. We have the binder out.
Binder out.
Things are getting serious.
So wouldn't you know it, we have a good rain chance on Mother's Day of all day. And this is becoming a bigger story, how dry we've been. We haven't had even 0.2 of an inch of rain in 1 day since, you have to go back 28 days ago. And that was April 7th.
Huh.
If you want to know when we had like a handful of days put together, what was raining and it was soaking everything up, you have to go back to the final week of March.
Is April 7th a Monday?
April 7th, it doesn't say.
Oh, okay. I didn't know how accurate or how thorough your notes were there. Sorry.
Apparently not that thorough. Wow. A punch to the gut, if you will. All right. Right now, Mother's Day looks wet. Now, I've seen a number of these scenarios where weather models show an upper level low coming and a likelihood of rain about 5 or 6 days out. And by the time we get there, the rain chance has almost nearly disappeared. So we'll see what happens this time. But right now, this will be a cloudy Mother's Day for the most part, with showers likely, temps in the 60s, heavier rain amounts going down into Northern California. And we could rack up maybe 0.2 to 35 1/100 of an inch of showers here in Portland, Salem, and Vancouver on Mother's Day into Monday. Here's what the rain potential map shows. Now, we do have a little bitty rain chance showing up on Wednesday, which is what this is. Shows about 5 1/100 of an inch of rain along the coast, and in the valley, a trace of rain or not that much, basically, which is kind of what, these last rain amounts have been more than not. But I'll play this through Sunday. We'll pick up Mother's Day rain. Now we've got some soaking rainfall. This shows maybe 1/4 of an inch or more in Portland, Salem, about the same down in Corvallis and Eugene, and over in the Lincoln City, Newport, and Tillamook. So we'll see. We'll keep you updated on what that Mother's Day rain chance, how it evolves and either stays with us or eventually goes away. Here's the weak weather system, the cloudiness offshore that gives us that chance of just a dab of rain on Wednesday. Before today, we're perfectly clear across our 2 states. It's going to be a lovely day. All of our cameras show the clear skies. There's the summit from Timberline Lodge over Mount Hood. There's the Chehalem Tasting Room camera out in Sherwood, what I lovingly refer to as the barn cam. It's the only barn showing up on any of our live cameras. Here's our Rose City camera. Beautiful morning. Temperature in Portland's at 46, low 40s in Salem, 43 degrees up in Kelso, 38 up in Astoria, 44 is the number out in the Dalles. Futurecast simply showing the clear blue skies across our 2 states with a north wind 5 to 15. 77 today. Just wonderful. Warmer tomorrow, 84. The shower threat with clouds on Wednesday. And then we're dry until what I talked about. That system approaches and potentially gives us some decent rain on Sunday. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. All right, let's get you out the door with a little bit of good news before the bad news. The good news is the drive times are actually in pretty good shape. 16 minutes to get in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge on I-5 is not bad at all. Highway 26 eastbound, not bad. The westbound 84 commute, not bad. But this has been a trouble spot here for the last little while. This is Highway 26, the Sunset westbound out near Cedar Hills Boulevard. The exit ramp has reopened. However, it is really slowing the westbound commute as it looks like we're only getting 1 lane by on Highway 26 westbound. So there is some slowing to get you off the Sylvan Hill out towards Cedar Hills Boulevard. Again, that's westbound on Highway 26. Back up to the St. John's Bridge we go. The camera looking down on the Bridge Avenue. That, of course, is the ramp on the west side of the St. John's Bridge, the Highway 30 side. Later on today, we are expecting that ramp, at least one of the ramps, to close for some bridge maintenance. And that's going to send all that traffic that would usually use the city side ramp onto the north ramp on the St. John's Bridge. So obviously that's going to create some slowing when and if that road closure occurs. Guys, the sign says it was supposed to start at 7 a.m. Don't see the work out there happening just yet, but we'll keep you posted.
All right, thank you, Chris. Coming up here in 2 minutes.
What my bill does, it says, please build different types of options.
As the country struggles with housing shortages, we're going to take a look at how Portland's focus on what's called middle housing could provide a nationwide solution. More Live Sunrise here in the 7 o'clock hour, right after this.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We do want to tell you about some breaking news that we're covering this morning.
Police are asking some people to stay inside their homes.
For the past few hours, we've watched officers coming and going.
Flames blowing in this wind that's been gusting all morning long.
There are level 3 go now evacuation orders in place.
New information that we just got from Portland police.
There is no danger to the public. We'll keep you updated as we learn more.
Stream extended coverage right here on KGW Plus.
Portland is making national headlines for what's known as middle housing, and Oregon Governor Tina Kotek wants to spread that city housing model to the rest of the state. For the bigger picture nationally, here's NBC's Steve Patterson.
Just one look at Portland might explain why Josie Cantu couldn't give it up.
I was really struggling. I wanted to stay in this neighborhood.
Trouble was figuring out how to put down roots as a first-time home buyer.
I couldn't find anything in my price range.
She was one more tour away from packing it all up until she noticed this.
The minute I walked in, I was like, this is it. This is the one. These kinds of buildings being put in place, it just opens up so much opportunity for people like myself.
Josie saw the hopeful beginning of Portland's middle housing renaissance. The term is a nod to townhomes and duplexes. In 2020, the city approved building them on lots zoned for single-family homes. Dubbed the Residential Infill Project, it has since made middle housing one of the most popular types of new construction. A new report from the city says it's working. 1,400 units built in just a few years, and each one is $300,000 less expensive than a typical single-family home.
People need to have options to live where they want to live.
Oregon's Governor Tina Kotek says a lack of housing inventory is a nationwide crisis.
We just didn't build enough, and particularly in the Great Recession, we got further behind.
Kotek is hoping to apply the idea under construction in Portland, those duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, to the rest of the state, spearheading a new bill this session.
What my bill does, it says, please build different types of options. So if you are retiring in a community that you've lived in all along and had this really big house, you can maybe find a different place to live in your community. If you're buying your first home, these are much more affordable new homes.
This feels like it's a big swing. You're almost saying, effectively, let's remove single-family zoning from the state of Oregon.
Well, we're still going to build single-family homes. It just says when you're a developer, you have a choice. And the market will dictate if it's a single-family home or if you can subdivide a lot and build 4 townhomes.
The plan has found few vocal critics, but brings challenges. Challenges Portland city leaders say they do feel.
Not all of our infrastructure was designed for this level of density. So as we're building more homes in our neighborhoods, we're going to have to update our water and sewer systems. We're going to have to think about how we update our transit lines. So those are all good problems to have.
But for Josie, what was once a distant dream is now plank and beam.
What's it like to be home?
I'm running up and down my stairs all the time, and I'm thinking, I cannot believe I bought this place. I cannot believe it. This is it. It's great.
One woman's proof that putting a roof over her own head was just a matter of being given the right keys. Steve Patterson, NBC News, Portland.
Coming up in our next half hour, student loan payments restart today. Tom Schultz joins us with everything you need to know. Sunrise streaming at 7 continues in just 2 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We do want to tell you about some breaking news that we're covering this morning.
Police are asking some people to stay inside their homes.
For the past few hours, we've watched officers coming and going.
Flames blowing in this wind that's been gusting all morning long.
There are level 3 go now evacuation orders in place.
New information that we just got from Portland police.
There is no danger to the public. We'll keep you updated as we learn more.
Stream extended coverage right here on KGW Plus.
We are coming up on 7:29 on a Monday morning drive that, well, starting off with a crash down in the Brooks area. Photojournalist Eric Patterson on the scene. This is 99E, the scene of an earlier 3-car crash. At one point, the road was closed. It looks like traffic is getting by as they continue dealing with that, but we'll keep you posted. Again, that's in the Brooks area near Quinnipiac Road, so traffic flowing again for a while. It was not. Back to the Sunset westbound. This is our biggest trouble spot right now. Highway 26 westbound, now only one lane getting by out near Cedar Hills Boulevard, and that is starting to back up the commute for the westbound Highway 26 drive back towards the Sylvan Hills. So that's our big trouble spot right now, Rod. Otherwise, our morning commute's not in too bad a shape.
Yeah, our thoughts for folks on that on Highway 26 on the Sunset. Thanks, Chris. Cameras are gorgeous. Everybody's clear this morning. Chinook Winds Casino Resort in Lincoln City. The clear skies go over to the Sisters area as well. The snow-capped mountains there from Aspen Lakes Golf Course. It'll be mid-60s over in Sisters today, by the way. It'll be in the 70s here in Portland. You see the clear skies we have, 64 at noon. We'll be warming up to around 77 degrees. Now, I think we'll be in the 80s tomorrow.
All right, the weather around here has been pretty perfect lately, right? Would you all agree with that? But it has been hot over in India. Rod, ask me how hot.
How hot is it?
Rod, it's so hot, this elephant decided to take a dip in someone's swimming pool.
Oh.
imagine coming outside and seeing this. Yeah. Did you know, also a quick fact worth mentioning here, elephants are actually pretty good swimmers, and they love being in the water. I knew that only because we've done so many segments over at the Oregon Zoo, and they have that awesome swimming pool for the elephants at the zoo. So no surprise to see that elephant soaking up the rays and enjoying the coolness of that water over in India.
So
Go ahead.
I was going to say, what are you doing if an elephant's in your pool?
Run.
Yeah, don't go in it. Wait till he gets out.
Tidal wave.
Yeah, it is not an open swim when the elephant's in the water. Hey, Rod, we want to quickly mention your summer outlook. Rod's Summer Outlook is streaming right now, right here on KGW Plus. And I'm thinking, if you have KGW Plus on right now, you know where to find it. This is probably a good time to let people know this is the new norm.
Yes.
Every day at 7 o'clock, we're going to do this.
Yes.
The Rodney, the Christopher, China, myself, live every day at 7, only on KGW Plus. And if you like the show, if you want to watch more of the show, if we feel there's a need, we may go on until 9 o'clock. Yeah.
Tell a friend.
And then maybe 10 o'clock, but that's probably
no, wait now, wait a minute.
That's probably where we draw the line.
Okay.
That's where we stop the morning right there.
But as far as we know right now, it is 7:31.
Yes.
That's all we know.
Yes.
And we're going to stick with that. We have weather and traffic to get to in a second, but first we want to let you know for kids that go to John Wetton Elementary in the Gladstone School District, the school is on a 2-hour delay because it doesn't have electricity. PGE is reporting the outage of the area and the school. At last check, a good amount of customers are affected. We're still working to find out more on that.
All right, thanks for that. By the way, my winter outlook that I hope you'll take the time to watch, the presentation here on our Plus channel runs about 8 minutes, and I show you the data, particularly going back to the year 2000, of what the trends have been for 90-plus degree days and what we expect to happen this summer. Again, that's my summer outlook. Here we are right now. It is going to be an absolutely beautiful, perfectly clear sky day across all of Oregon and Washington. Temperature out the door here in Portland's at 46 degrees. There was a frost advisory up for parts of the valley, mainly bumping up against the Cascade foothill communities. That frost advisory has expired. Temperatures are now warming. We have a 64 degrees at noon, and then later today, 77. If you remember, the weekend had a pretty good north breeze, 5 to 15. I don't see that today. I think winds will be just 5 to 15 miles per hour. We'll have your complete 7-day forecast coming up in just a bit. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. I want to get you back to Marion County in the Brooks area. Photojournalist Eric Patterson on the scene of what appeared to be a pretty bad 3-car crash a while ago. Now, here's the update. While we don't have any official word from ODOT or law enforcement, the road, which was closed for about 45 minutes, has reopened. But just know that obviously there's a little police activity and they've got to tow those vehicles out of there. Then that again is near Quinnipiac Road in the Brooks area. All right, back to the freeways. Highway 26 westbound. This has been a trouble spot here for the last hour. A crash near the Cedar Hills Boulevard exit ramp. The exit ramp has reopened. It was closed for a while, but that has reopened. However, the westbound Sunset is down to one lane, squeezing through out near Cedar Hills Boulevard. So that is backing up the commute. You can see the red line here on Highway 26 westbound. This is back towards the Sylvan Hills. So if you're trying to get out towards Beaverton, you're going to need probably an extra 8 to 10 minutes to get through this, and then traffic speeds pick up on the other side of that crash. Meanwhile, The I-5 drive is starting to heat up a little bit, guys. That's now up to about 25 minutes to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. And a quick check of the eastbound Sunset, now approaching 30 to get you in from Hillsborough. Back to you.
All right, thanks for that live update, Chris. Here's our top story at 7:33. After a 5-year pause, federal student loan repayments resumed today, and financial experts say there could be millions of people across the U.S. who are not ready for the restart.
Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us in the studio. So, Thomas, what else did experts say here?
Well, guys, they say it's important to have a plan as soon as possible. Now, for 5 years, there's been no repercussions for not paying those student loans. That's changing. Collections of student loans begin today. In an op-ed, U.S. Secretary of Education Linda McMahon wrote that borrowers who don't make payments on time will see their credit scores go down. In some cases, wages will be automatically garnished. She says around 1.8 million borrowers will be moved into repayment plans. And nationwide, administration officials say 5 million people are in default. Another 4 million are in late-stage delinquency, meaning they haven't made payments in up to 6 months. In a press release, Linda McMahon says American taxpayers will no longer be forced to serve as collateral for irresponsible student loan policies. Though experts say this could be a really scary time for many borrowers and say now is the time to develop that plan.
So now with adding this back in, that's really where the challenges are coming, because they just kind of filled other things in with it, with all of the other challenges they've been facing with high cost of living, high cost to find a place to live.
Brian Walsh there, the head of advice and planning at SoFi, says people can refinance or create income-driven repayment plans to help get themselves out of that financial hole. People should also check with their student loan servicer or visit studentaid.gov for more in-depth information on their specific loans. China.
Thank you, Thomas. And Meet the Press moderator Kristen Welker sat down for an exclusive interview with President Donald Trump over the weekend. In their conversation, President Trump talked about tariffs, upholding the Constitution, Ukraine and Russia, and if he's serious about seeking a third term.
Are you saying that your tariffs will cause some prices to go up?
No, I think the tariffs are going to be great for us because it's going to make us rich.
But you said some dolls are going to cost more. Isn't that an acknowledgement that some prices will go up?
I don't think a beautiful baby girl that's 11 years old needs to have 30 dolls. I think they can have 3 dolls or 4 dolls. Because what we were doing with China was just unbelievable. We had a trade deficit of hundreds of billions of dollars with China.
When you say they could have 3 dolls instead of 30 dolls, are you saying Americans could see empty store shelves?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they don't need to have 30 dolls. They can have 3. They don't need to have 250 pencils. They can have 5.
But you're basically saying there could be some supply shortages because of the tariffs.
We don't have to waste money on a trade deficit with China for things we don't need, for junk that we don't need.
Over the weekend, a 25% import tax on all foreign-made cars went into effect. The president is also calling for a 100% tariff on movies produced outside the U.S., saying on True Social that he's authorizing the Commerce Department to begin the process of imposing the tariffs. The Trump administration has also issued a sweeping number of federal cuts, which are stopping some local programs designed to help crime victims. I'm coming up at 7:50. Investigative reporter Evan Watson looks into which programs are being affected.
Portland Mayor Keith Wilson will release his first city budget today. In his first State of the City address on Friday, Mayor Wilson said his budget focuses on getting the city back to basics while also dealing with a $93 million budget gap. He also acknowledged Portland Public Schools' massive budget shortfall, but then he did spend some time focusing on positives, like efforts to bring Major League Baseball to Portland and plans to open the James Beard Public Market downtown.
My budget prioritizes core services, community assets, public safety, and green leadership. We're also going to strengthen funding to clean our streets, fill our potholes, and remove graffiti.
The mayor also said Portland is holding steady as a sanctuary city despite recent threats from the Trump administration, and he says the city remains focused on ending unsheltered homelessness.
Your time now is 7:38 on your Monday. Headed over to Rod Hill for a look at weather.
Hi, everybody. We are gorgeous. 7:38 now in the morning. Our live camera from the Oregon Veterans Home camera out in the Dalles. Wind direction days from the north, and we think they're gorge, including you folks in Hood River. We'll see fairly light winds with the sunny skies. Calm now at the airport out in the Dalles. In fact, 44 is your early morning temperature. You'll be well up into the 70s today, by the way. Here's the clear blue sky over downtown Portland from the Rose City camera. 40 46, about the same as Wasco County. And again, we have a calm wind. Other numbers, the frost advisory that was up early this morning for parts of the Willamette Valley up into the Cascade foothills has expired. That was lifted at 7 this morning. It's 40 out in Sandy. You stayed above freezing. It's 52, in fact, out Forest Grove. 41 in Battleground. That thermometer was in the mid-30s earlier this morning. 42 in Salem and 42 degrees in Kaiser. Your day moving forward will be 60 at 11 o'clock. This shows mid-60s at noon. And then the 2 o'clock hour, we jump up into the 70s. Noticeably warmer than the 60s over the weekend. And without that gusty north wind at times, that will make it feel warmer as well. The airport PDX reported a gust of 31 yesterday. Wrigley is our KGW dog of the day. And according to the graphic, if you send your photos to dogoftheday@kgw.com, we will put them on the list and your dog will become our dog of the day. There's a Wrigley this morning. All right, forecast map is a sunny one, all areas. It shows upper 60s in Tillamook for a high at 5 o'clock, about 60 in Newport, 70s up and down I-5 out in the Gorge, mid-60s in Bend, and about 60 out in Baker City. Everybody has a lovely day. 84 tomorrow, and then there's a system that brings us a shower threat on Wednesday. Then we warm up to 81 on Friday, and right now it looks like Mother's Day could be gray with a good chance of seeing showers in the area. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. We pick it up with a traffic alert on the westbound Sunset, and this is not normal. Westbound Highway 26 is really backed up. Only one lane appears to be getting by this earlier crash near Cedar Hills Boulevard. For perspective, that is the exit ramp to Cedar Hills Boulevard. That ramp was closed for a while. It has reopened. However, westbound Highway 26 traffic is puttering along with only one lane getting through. And in fact, as I zoom in on the traffic map, you can see that slowing extends basically from Cedar Hills Boulevard eastward to the Sylvan Hill. There's the westbound commute going up the hill at Sylvan. So there's about a 2.5, 3 mile backup right now on Highway 26. Skip this if you can. Maybe take Barnes to Burnside or Burnside to Barnes if you're heading west on the Sunset. Once you get around that crash scene, we're in pretty good shape. North Portland, I-5 southbound traffic, of course, slow and steady coming in off the Fremont Bridge. Right now, we are up to 25 minutes to get you in from Main Street south to I-405. China?
Thank you, Chris.
It's a celebration of a battle that was won by Mexican troops against the French in the 1860s. And it's not really that significant in Mexico.
Cinco de Mayo, what it is and why do we celebrate it? The meaning behind the holiday coming up in 2 minutes.
KGW's Evening News. Important stories to help you stay informed and keep your family safe.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Christine Pittawanich.
And I'm David Molko.
Weather impact alerts to help you plan your week.
We need to be extra careful with anything that can throw a spark.
And a team of local journalists connected to our community. David Molko, Christine Pittawanich, and Matt Zaffino. Your Evening News team, tonight on KGW.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
It's Cinco de Mayo, and many people see the holiday as an excuse to grab some tacos, maybe a margarita.
Are you watching Rod dancing over there in the
Yes, I
shadows?
was.
What's my favorite kind of margarita, China?
spicy margarita.
That's true. I do like the spicy margarita. But the question we're asking today, what about the original reason behind the Cinco de Mayo celebration? It was actually to commemorate a Mexican battle. So we talked to a Portland State history professor to learn more about the meaning behind the holiday. He shared what happened during the Battle of Puebla and how years later, Mexico defeated the French.
It's a celebration of a battle that was won by Mexican troops against the French in the 1860s. And it's not really that significant in Mexico. It led to eventually the French basically withdrawing and not seeking to expand into Latin America. The United States was very keen on Europeans not coming into the Western Hemisphere, and so there was tacit U.S. support.
While it is in some ways celebration of Mexican culture, Professor Rodriguez says it's not a prominent Mexican or holiday in Mexico. He says over the past 50 years, the holiday has really grown in the U.S. and has become more commercialized over time, though he still believes there is value in learning the historical significance.
I think it's become like the Mexican-American version of St. Patrick's Day. It's a good way to have fun. It does celebrate to some degree Mexican and Mexican-American culture, but in many ways it's like St. Patrick's Day, driven by a lot of beer companies and things like that. And getting to know our neighbors a little bit probably would be good for us, right? Both Canada and Mexico, since they are our largest trading partners. And our countries have been intertwined for a very long time. And so I think learning these things can be helpful.
Seems like every single holiday starts as one thing and then commercialism takes over and it becomes something else, right? Quick reminder, locally, Portland's weekend-long 38th annual Cinco de Mayo Fiesta will wrap up today along the downtown waterfront. The gates open up this afternoon at 4 o'clock. The party wraps up at 10 o'clock. A lot of food, a lot of fun activities, and there's more information if you're looking for it at CincoDeMayoPortland.com.
You put me on the spot to ask about your favorite margarita, and I'll put you on the spot. I have two of my favorite Mexican food restaurants. One is like quick and one is sit down. Which are they?
Well, Taco Bell is one.
No, it's not.
That's quick.
No.
Chipotle. That's quick.
No.
Taco Del Mar.
With my favorite salsa ever.
Well, wait a minute. Can I go? I know one is Margarita Factory.
Yes.
Okay, but I don't understand the other one.
The one that we love, that I love the salsa.
Oh, Pepino's. See, I don't know that one as well as you do. I just know it's on Northwest 23rd.
I introduced you to it. It's amazing.
Margarita Factory is good. I like the Margarita Factory.
Yeah, we have one up in Hazeldale where I live. Yeah.
And Pepino's, there's only one that I know of in Northwest 23rd. It's awesome.
Yes.
You a spicy girl?
No.
No, you don't? Really?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, a lot of people like Mexican food are really spicy people, but you're.
You need to spice your way to the weather.
Okay, here we go. Yes, we have a rain chance on Mother's Day. Yes, at this point, the rain chance looks really good. Yes, the overwhelming majority of good rain chances lately 5-6 days out have totally fallen apart. So stay tuned to the forecast. But right now, this is what the weather maps show. This is Sunday, upper level low, offshore, jet stream flow producing heavier rain amounts perhaps in Northern California. But for us, if I go this way, increasing showers, total rainfall Sunday into Monday with 2/10 to about 35/100 of an inch. Now, there is a rain chance showing up as soon as Wednesday. Today, we're just wonderfully clear, all areas. Wednesday, we'll get some clouds. This shows maybe we get a trace of rain in Portland. Maybe we don't. Maybe we get 5/100 of an inch of rain along the coast. Maybe we don't. But if I hit the button, the next rain chance shows up, and that is Sunday. So most of this map is simply what could fall Sunday. And this shows about a quarter in Portland, Salem, Corvallis, Eugene, maybe as much as 3/10 of an inch of rain. We have not had even 2/10 of an inch of rain in a calendar day since, it's been 28 days ago. I think it was, April 7th, something like that. It's been a crazy long time ago. Here's a look at where we are today. We're perfectly clear, Oregon and Washington. There's that weak system that comes in Wednesday that will cool us back down, bring us some clouds with the threat of some rain. But again, today, all of your plans, including the coast, will find beautiful sunshine. Here's the camera up on the hill at the Astoria column, looking back down over the bridge in the mouth of the Columbia River, 38 degrees, cool start, but you folks will be in the 60s this afternoon. Here's downtown Portland. You can see the flag is moving on top of Pioneer Courthouse right there. Expecting this to be a much calmer day than what we had seen over the weekend. Yesterday, we had a peak wind gust from the north out at the airport of 31 miles per hour. Right now, it's calm out along the Columbia. 46 is the current number. Here's the Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club in Aloha. The weather site not reporting, but beautiful clear sky morning out there. 43 up in Kelso. The Dow's about like Portland at 44. It's now above freezing in Burns at 39, and Bend was down to around freezing, now at 43 degrees. So the warm-up is already starting to be rapid. This shows 75 degrees in Salem today with north winds 5 to 15. Similar numbers up into southwest Washington, 77 in Vancouver. I've got Portland at 77. 80s tomorrow with mostly sunny skies, and then that cool down with a rain threat on Wednesday. And then we're back to warming on Thursday, 81 on Friday. Saturday's dry. Mother's Day right now, I have mid-60s clouds and an ongoing threat of showers. And now it is birthday time. All right, live in our 7 o'clock hour, let's get to some birthdays. Peyton is celebrating being a teenager, 13 today. Happy birthday to you. And this is fun, same birthday. Cameron is 38 and Sebastian there is 5. Happy birthday. Candy is celebrating 72 years young. And a big shout out to Nick today, who is 89 years old. Happy birthday to you. Nick's daughter shares with us that her dad has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. We wish him well with that. But her daughter says that Nick and his wife, they both watch our show on our streaming channel at 7:45 every morning. So here's your birthday shout out. Nick, happy birthday! That's a shout out. All right, birthdays at KGW.com. And we'll celebrate with you. Here's Chris.
And he's watching us live right now, so thank you and tell a friend. And one of the benefits of being on an hour later now is to show you this. Unfortunately, the Sunset westbound really backed up because of this earlier crash near Cedar Hills Boulevard. The exit ramp to Cedar Hills Boulevard has reopened. That reopened a while ago, but the crash itself on the westbound side of the freeway still has at least one lane closed. And the traffic now is backed up a good 3 miles from Cedar Hills Boulevard east to the Sylvan Hill. Check out this lineup right now on Highway 26 at Sylvan and Canyon Road. That's actually the Canyon Road exit ramp there, and you can see traffic really stacked up. So you're going to need probably 15 minutes extra time for that westbound drive through that stretch of freeway. The eastbound commute's a little slow right now, but this is normal, about 28 minutes or so to get you in from Hillsborough to downtown. And a quick check of the St. John's Bridge. We keep waiting for it. We've been telling you about it. That's because the sign has been telling us that the Bridge Avenue ramp was going to close today at 7 a.m. It has not yet closed, but when it does, there's some maintenance going on over there, so there'll be a closure from 7 to 5 today and tomorrow. Guys?
Thank you, Chris. Recent cuts by the Trump administration have had an impact on grant funding for a few Oregon-based initiatives.
Evan Watson has the latest on the list of federal cuts and the impacts that they have locally.
Rihanna Hensley knew she wanted to be a change maker when she was 12. 3 years later, she discovered why.
And everything kind of went haywire when I was a victim of a violent crime when I was 15.
A peer followed her home and strangled her. Rihanna, born with ataxic cerebral palsy, nearly died.
This perpetrator chose me specifically because of my physical weakness.
As a disabled crime victim, Rihanna now entered the justice system.
I think the court system almost traumatized me just as much as the actual crime. I did not know my lawyer, did not meet her until sentencing day. I was referred to as the wheelchair girl by the judge. I never heard the judge say my actual name. It shocked me, the lack of support, and it really instilled this great need that I need to change this.
Years later, Rihanna joined a committee led by Meg Garvin and the National Crime Victim Law Institute in Portland to improve legal services for disabled crime victims.
So that you could be a really expert lawyer at no cost for victims with disabilities in Oregon.
Through a $500,000 federal grant, they created a training and a pairing system for lawyers and victims, ready for rollout in August. Then 10 days ago, the Trump administration cut the funds. The Justice Department told NCVLI and 364 other grant recipients nationwide that their programs no longer effectuate agency goals or priorities. Without the rest of the funding, the plans got shelved.
If you're going for efficiency of use of government dollars, this is not that, right? We had created a training, we're ready to roll with it. Lawyers could start representing after being trained as early as next fall. And now we don't get to do it.
Do you have a sense why this would be a program that's
picked for a cut at the federal level?
Absolutely not. It shouldn't have been cut. It perfectly aligns with community safety, which the administration has set as a top priority.
KGW obtained the list of grant terminations, showing the other Oregon programs the Justice Department cut. They pulled funding from the NAACP in Eugene to address hate crimes by creating an effective reporting system. And the administration cut multiple grants to Multnomah County and community nonprofits that were funding youth gun violence prevention.
I mean, it creates a void in the system, right, of support to young people.
Charlene McGee directs the programs for the county. She says the community outreach and peer mediation model has been effective, reducing the number of violent incidents in Portland and creating a safer community.
We know that prevention works. We know that it's cost effective.
NCVLI and Multnomah County say they're looking at their options, maybe appealing the cuts, litigation, or looking for any other ways to fund these programs.
I immediately thought of 15-year-old Brianna, how brokenhearted she would be to know that at the end of the day, the support and change that I was making, the accessibility to do it through the government was stripped.
But Rihanna's drive to make a difference still is strong, as always.
I was doing this since I was 12 years old. I don't think I will stop anytime soon.
In total, the Justice Department had allocated about $5 million to these halted Oregon programs. In the termination letters, the department cited a change in priorities to support law enforcement, combat violent crime, and protect American children. However, many of the cut programs were focused on violence intervention and prevention. Evan Watson, KGW News.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Police are asking some people to stay inside their homes.
We've watched officers coming and going.
Flames blowing in this wind.
There is no danger to the public. We'll keep you updated.
Stream extended coverage right here on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
And today's forecast is live back here on Sunrise is all about the clear skies. We'll pop up to about 77 degrees.
A live look at the sunset. That is not pleasant, but it's moving along a little bit better. Westbound Highway 26, though, backed up because of that crash at Cedar Hills Boulevard. It'll take you an extra 15 minutes or so westbound from Sylvan out towards Murray.
All right, that's it for a Monday morning. Thanks for joining us here on KGW Plus, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.